Hey, advisory. All right, I am going to go through what we talked about today in advisory. So, some of you might have a checking account, a saving account, a credit card, or a job. If you don't, that's all good. If you do, that's awesome. You kind of have a jump start of what we're going to be talking about today. So, there's four things we're going to do. We did the greeting. Next up, we'll do checking and savings, then credit cards, and then credit score. So, first thing, how to open a checking or a savings account. Now, with a checking account, it might be an individual where you're the only owner of it, or you might have a joint account. Okay, that's going to depend on a few things. Age can factor into it as well. So if you're under 18, sometimes bank don't let you have an individual checkings or saving account. You have to have it joint with like a parent or guardian. Um, yeah, just depends on the bank. Anyway, here are the things that you're going to need for a checking or savings account to open one up at a bank. They include a home address, an email address, a phone number. You have to fill out an application. It's going to vary on the bank, and also pay the opening deposit. So, for example, a few years ago, I opened up a new savings account at a bank and I had to deposit $10 into it just to be like, yep, I have some sort of money to put into it. That's pretty much all it is. Usually it's a really low amount of money. You also need ID documents such as the driver's license and your social security number. So, how to open up a credit card? The first thing is that you must be at least 18 years of age to open independently. Some credit cards even require you to be 21 years old. Two, you must show a proof of income. So that can be something like a pay stub, tax return, a commission check, an investment statement. For most of you, it's probably going to be the pay stub. I know when I opened up my first credit card, um, it wasn't until I was in college, but I showed them my pay stub from my job at the university, and that was all they really needed to show that I had a proof of income. It was pretty easy, actually. There's also student credit cards. These may still need a cosigner with it, or have a proof of income or meet some other requirements. So student credit cards are handy for high schoolers, or if you're just kind of more exploring the world of how a credit card works. There's also this thing called credit scores. Okay, so a credit score is a prediction that you will pay back a loan. So you might hear credit scores a lot. Like sometimes there's like commercials even on TV about credit scores. I know it's kind of interesting. They're really they're really interesting because banks know your credit score, but they won't tell you what your credit score is. They'll just tell you if it's excellent, very good, good, fair, poor, or very bad into one of these categories right here, which is really interesting. But pretty much what a credit score is it's showing like a company that you want to take a loan out from that you are a good person that pays back your debts. Okay. So, for example, here, if I wanted to get a car loan or a personal loan or a house loan or pay some big bills or some apartment leases, I'm going to need a credit score for that. Okay. I'm going to need to show the car dealership, like if I'm buying a car, I need to show the car dealership, hey, I'm in the very good score, which means I'm going to pay for this car and I'm not just going to burn you, take the car and, you'll never see me again. No. All right. So that's kind of what credit scores are. They're kind of like a safety for car dealerships or home loan offices to say, hey, this person will pay back their stuff because they have a record of it. So impacts to credit score. The biggest one, of course, is credit cards. It is really, really, really important that you pay your bills every month. If you don't, your credit score is going to be awful. If you do, it'll be up in the good to very good to excellent range. Other bills include cell phone bills, utility bills, so that's like water, electric, rent, student loans, the total amount of debt that you have, and also the length of your credit history. So, for example, when I was first starting off, in the first probably 2 to 3 years, my credit score was pretty much non existent because I was still new to paying off things. And now it is better because I pay off different bills and stuff. So, how to pay for your post-secondary education. So, if you're thinking about going off to college, be a 2-year, a 4-year, maybe in the future, like way in the future, you're thinking about it, um, there are many ways to pay for like post-secondary education. Of course, you can just pay cash, which would be, I mean, it's possible, I guess. Um, there's also grants that you can have or student loans. If you're looking at grants or student loans, do fill out FAFSA. If you don't know what FAFSA is, it is a online government program that it's like a questionnaire that you fill out of like your income, your family's income, stuff like that. And from it, you can get student loans or grants. Um, apparently, it's become easier like this past year, so that's good news. If you have questions about it, I highly suggest to ask Miss Helly. She knows a lot more about FAFSA than I ever will. All right. So how do you rent an apartment or rent a house? That is also a really good skill to learn. So here's kind of the step-by-step guide. The first thing you need to do, of course, is complete the application to the apartment that you want to rent. Typically, there's an application fee. Some apartments have it, some don't. It's just going to depend. There's also a potential credit. That credit score comes into play, or background check. Have that proof of income, which again would be like a pay stub, proof of identification, specifically like your driver's license, social security card, passport, something like that. Find out if you need a cosigner. So if you're really young, um, you might need a cosigner that has a little bit more money to their name. Potentially provide references for like other people to say, hey, you're a good person. You're not going to trash the place. Provide a security deposit. Um, I know, like for my uncle's apartment, I think he had to pay 400 or 500 for a security deposit. That just puts down money after you leave if there's any damages, like the carpet is stained or the countertops are scratched or something like that. That money goes towards whatever you might have broken. Then you need to sign a lease. And if you have a pet, of course, you need to put down the pet information because sometimes there's breed and weight restrictions. So thank you for coming and listening. If you have any questions, you're more welcome to ask us. We're here to help you. All right, bye.